Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with our last regular episode of the season. A nice digital episode today. Me and Michael on the Discord. Thank you guys for joining us. I have had the flu for the past 5 days.
I do not want the flu.
I am no longer having the flu as of like today. But because of my flu having experience, Michael did not want to be in the same room with me, and I don't blame him. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to leave the house yet. So that's why we're doing a digital episode. Yeah, it works out better for all of us. Once again, is Eric. With me as always, Michael. Thank you for joining us here for part 2 of a discussion on Vanquished. Also, the last regular episode of the season before holiday shenanigans.
The calm before the storm.
Yes, before the arguments and the complaints and all of this fun stuff. But,
Vanquish, a universally calm, chillaxed game, for sure.
Yes, a game you play while, contemplating your life and sitting under a waterfall and all those fun things. So, let's go ahead and get into, real quick, kind of some business. After this episode, we'll be releasing a couple of holiday episodes. They will not follow the normal format. If you have listened to our show for the past couple of seasons, you will kind of see how it runs. Well, we will do a ranking show, and then we have kind of a fun holiday show that we're going to be doing also. But since this is the last regular show of the season, let's go ahead and stick to the format today. Michael, what video games have you been playing?
I need to jump into the discourse.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of discussion on these new Pokemon games. And I've been playing a lot of these new Pokemon games.
A lot of talk about these here new Pokemon.
Yes. A lot of discussion. Mostly this game looks and runs terribly. And you know what? They are exactly right. I want to get this discussion out of the way first because it's so frustrating. Because you can see like the writing on the walls and how this came to be. We're near the end of the Switch life cycle, so they gotta get the new Pokemon out there right away. They've been working on this game since Sword and Shield release, which was 2019. So it's a 3-year development cycle in which the team was mostly working from home when this was happening. I'm not excusing this because they should have got delayed. And I imagine they didn't want to delay because of we're near the end of the Switch life cycle, and pushing it back would inevitably push back the other Pokemon games that they're working on. They usually do a cycle of 3. They usually have like a year of spin-offs, then a year that is a remake, and then they do the next generation game is how they typically do things, and pushing that back to the back burner. And I imagine they want to get this out so they could probably work on updating the engine if they ever do decide to update the engine for the next-gen hardware. So, as a result, there was no delay. This is what we get. And there are frame rate dips constantly. The only crashes I had were on online multiplayer, but the game looks bad. Like, untextured grounds. The only thing that looks really great is the Pokemon. That's where they spent all of their time, but this game looks near atrocious. Okay, now with that all out of the way, this is probably the most fun I've had with a Pokemon in so long, because the gameplay itself is really good. The change-ups they made are really smart. The quality of life stuff they've done in terms of like the battles and the catching is really freaking great. The story and the characters are better than they've been in a long time, so it's very frustrating that this could have been an all-time great Pokemon game, but the minute you start it and then have to endure the 3-hour tutorial that teaches you everything you already know, while also looking at the most boring environments and the most like broken character animations. There's a bit where you're meeting a whole bunch of characters and they are moving at 15 frames a second while some characters are moving at 30 frames a second. It's bad. It is Cyberpunk 2077 levels of performance going on here.
I know that the justification, right, is that Switch hardware is old, but at the same time, I mean, you can only do so much and let that ride so long. I mean, just some of the footage I've seen, it's hard to you knew when you released this that this was going to be a problem, and if you have a good strong game there, the only thing you're doing is you're preventing people from even giving it a shot because they're just seeing this and they're going, this is ugly, this is broken, I'm not even going to touch this, and that's a shame. And I know the argument of the business reasons, it's the business reasons, you don't throw off the cycle, yada 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 yada.
I'm not excusing that at all. I'm just pointing out why
I'm not saying you are, but you're also correct in that statement. I mean, I'm sure somebody in a board meeting, listen, no studio releases a broken game and doesn't know it. You know, they know what they're doing. They're smart people. But somebody in a board meeting said financially we need to do this. But the only thing it's done is all that hard work and all that well-designed game that you've created is just not going to get appreciated because no one's going to get past the fact that every time I meet a character, their hand moves as if they're stuck in molasses, and every time I look around the environment, it just looks boring and nothing interesting for me to go, walk around and do. And that's a shame because this one seemed like it had a lot of hype. Like everybody seemed pretty pumped up about it going into it, and it's a shame that it seems like that's killed the momentum. And it doesn't strike me, and Nintendo's not a company that strikes me as like somebody who's going to like fix things in post. It's not like a bunch of patches are going to come out and give it 3 months and it'll be running fine. I have a feeling this is pretty much what you get, and that's a shame.
Nintendo has done a lot better this generation with patching and fixing stuff as it goes, but they haven't had a game this broken before. But this also falls completely on Pokemon Company and like their management structure that they have going on for this right now, because man, it's just such a bummer. The fact that I wanted to come on here and talk about how great this game is, but I have to preface it with all these technical issues, all the bugs and glitches. And if you're playing online with more, the online is better than it's been in a Pokemon game because they actually let your friends join in a group and explore the same open world and have battles that you can see your friends participating in together on an online server in the open world. It's awesome. And then it crashes. And then the more people you add onto the game, the harder the frame rate dips happen. It is so baffling. This game needed another 6 months to a year if it was, I think, going to be in a good condition to launch.
Yeah.
Because this is...
And like you brought up, like how I was saying that Nintendo is not a company I feel like is going to work on this for the next 6 months and everything's going to be fine. And in my mind, it's because usually they don't release games in bad shape. Usually their games are pretty damn polished. You got to think that a lot of this is just technical limitations at this point, where, what can they do with the hardware they've got? But then that goes back to, if you know that the hardware is not going to be capable of living up to what you're trying to do, then when's the point do you go back to the drawing board and start designing around the hardware that you have? Because in my mind, it's better to try to do that than try to push the hardware to the breaking point and then have it break constantly. I'd much rather you take a step back maybe on some stuff and have it run smoothly and actually be, walking, than push it to the brink and then it's just a constant, break fest.
There were rumors that the Switch OLED model that they released last year was going to include like a slight, like a half step hardware increase, but because of the pandemic, supply chain issues, the chip shortage at the time, they said, we'll just fix this, we'll just do what we can with the parts we have and just do a $50 bump as opposed to like $150 bump. So it's possible that the Pokemon team were relying on, all right, this will run great on the half-step iteration, the Cyberpunk problem of it'll run great on next-gen hardware and PCs.
Well,
we don't have to optimize if we just do this whole thing, and then...
If you remember back on the Cyberpunk conversation I had, where I was saying, then why the fuck did you put it on the old stuff then? But, no,
exactly.
There's a very good chance that they had specs for a 1.5 upgrade Switch model that they were probably shooting at, and maybe those went down the wayside. And now, well, oh shit, there's no 1.5 version of the Switch out there to show our game off real well. When you talk about like design just being kind of boring, like from a environment and stuff like that, though, I wonder how much of that is, hey, we gotta strip this stuff down to try to get the performance somewhat stable.
Yep.
You know, is it a situation where it's like, I guess we're going to take all these trees out of here because every time we put the trees in, things crash.
Oh, the trees are there. Let me tell you about the pop-in. You'll see a tree within 10 feet in front of you. It does the thing where elements will move at like quarter frame rate, then half frame rate, then full frame rate the closer you get. But if you think of like not to compare this to like a game on a stronger... Well, it's on the Switch, actually. The Witcher 3. When, like, you see birds and, like, the birds will go to half frame rate and quarter frame rate as they fly. They don't do that for every single element in this game. Like, the characters walking and then just disappear. There's no fog. I'm surprised they didn't try to cover it with some N64 fog going on.
Hey, on this plateau that you are exploring, everything is windy and foggy. It's just the nature of the land. It's Scotland, everybody. It's Scotland. Welcome to the
crap,
moors.
we did Scotland last time. We can't do Scotland again.
I like to think that was the entire reason they didn't do that. Like, they were like, we'll just make it foggy. It's like, we can't. We did Scotland last game. No, that is a shame. It's dominated a lot of the conversation around the game, I feel like, which is...
It dominated especially this discussion on the game we had, because it can't not be.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can feel free to tell me some positives about it. But when I say it's dominated the conversation, it's just because it's one of those things that it's really hard to sell a game to somebody when you're saying that many caveats.
Well, we say that, but then the game sold 10 million copies in 3 days, and it's the fastest selling Nintendo game on any system ever. So
okay, but let's back up here.
Yeah.
But is that a good thing? Because that's 10 million people who were very excited about your game. Because most people who probably bought this do not spend all their time looking at video game updates, trying to play. They saw a new Pokemon was coming out. They were really excited about it because it's the new Pokemon. The hype train was high. And they decided, I'm going to grab this new Pokemon. And now you've got 10 million people who's got a game that has a lot of rough spots around it. That next time things come around, are they going
better
to
be
be
good.
as willing? Yeah, exactly. It goes back to I remember back when the the Call of Duty argument, right? Where it's like, well, it sells this many copies every single year. It's like, yeah, but that's a temporary success if you do not release a high quality product. And like I said, I'm not saying this is the same situation because it sounds like the game itself is of a high quality. They did good stuff. It's just from a technical point of view and a design point of view when you're dealing with these limitations, it seems they had a rough go of it. But before we switch topics off of the Pokemon, give me a couple of things you like about it. Yeah.
So the game... Other Pokemon games are very, very linear strict. They usually have about 3 plot lines that you're doing in an order where on the way to the gym, Team Rocket's doing some stuff. And then you usually have a side quest thing that ties into the world to varying degrees of success. Either you like those or you hate those and you're like, just let me get to the next gym. I care about the gym stuff. The way this game does it, is once you are free to explore the open world, you have 3 different branches that you can go down in any order you want to. The first is the gym challenges. You have the 8 gyms, which you can do in any order. It doesn't scale level. Whatever level you end up with at that gym is what you have to fight. So you could just roll up to the hardest gym in the game with level 12 Pokemon, and then have to deal with some level 50s.
Get your
if you want
right back down to Poodle City.
Yeah, basically. But then you have the second path, which is the dealing with Titan Pokemon, which have ate some wild grass and are now giant and are causing a problem, and you have to go and deal with those things.
Seems like some drug panic bullshit with like the Pokemon on the grass. They're uncontrollable. The grass is making them go crazy. They're bigger and stronger than any of the other Pokemon. How are we gonna stop these grass Pokemon?
And the third...
I like the fact that you don't even acknowledge that high quality paranoia that... Oh, it's gonna be one of those shows, isn't it?
Yep. And the third is the Team Star is trying to recruit the cool kids and keep out the not cool kids from their high school club. And the professor of the school is going undercover as a student to help you take down these rapscallions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And the fact that you can do all this in like any order, so you can... This is the one where me and my friends who have been playing Pokemon for a long time got to a point where we're like, I don't know what my team is. And that's exciting, because I have all these Pokemon of like the same level, but I haven't... But because I don't have it in my head, like, I'm going to the water gym, so I need to train up some water Pokemon next. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to end up, because I don't know how powerful things are going to be. So I'm shuffling teams around and finding team compositions that I like, and catching new ones that shuffle my team composition. So, and the fact when I was talking to friends, we've done completely different paths out of the gate, and ended up with wildly different Pokemon in our team, versus like when you talk to somebody, usually in the Pokemon games, when you go through the same areas. So usually when you're in the same point of the game, your team compositions are similar, minus like 1 or 2 Pokemon, some moves, differentials. But we're doing with like on the same level, but doing with like completely different team setups. And that is exciting. Like, this is the first time I like whited out in the Pokemon game in years, because I got to a trainer that just mopped the floor with me. And I'm like, I can't leave. This is really cool.
It's a situation also avoids the getting halfway through the game with your team that you're kind of stuck in and being like, do I really want to start trying to bring new people in now, new Pokemon in now, or do I just stick with the team I know and try to, out level everything? So yeah, I mean, I'm still curious about this game, because remember I had talked a lot about maybe this was the one to jump in. Then I saw the footage and I was like, oh no. But it's still, which is a shame, but maybe Nintendo games never go on sale, so
yeah, that's the problem.
Idea of waiting for it to hit a sale or something.
I really hope that they are going to put the time in and patch this. I have very little faith in Pokemon I have very little faith in Pokemon Company, because they're like, we got our money, let's make the engine for the next one, because God knows we're under the scope now.
And, there is always the thing of, we got our money, and as long as the next one's really good, we'll be fine. You can drop the ball on one, just don't do it twice. But that's a really shitty way of doing it. And if the world was a more fair place, people wouldn't necessarily fall for that kind of business logic. But, yeah, it's a shame that it seems like what is a technical issues on that game has kind of hurt what is a very solid game at its core.
Yes.
What else have you been playing? What else you been doing?
I told myself I wouldn't get this so soon, but I met family that I haven't saw for my birthday over Thanksgiving, so they funded this next adventure. Then I got a notification that PlayStation's Black Friday sale was on, and Sonic Frontiers was a decent chunk off. So I bought and played a lot of Sonic Frontiers.
I'm giving you 5 minutes. I'm going to pick up over here my little 3rd edition Chaos Space Marine painted as a Night Lord. I'm going to stare at this for a little bit. So you
Chaos?
can talk about... Yeah, it is a high-quality Chaos Space Marine over here painted as a Night Lord from 3rd edition that was acquired by Nick and given to me because he knows I love the Night Lords. And whoever painted this back in the day did an amazing job. And very much better than all my painting. So it's like this little relic from an old edition that's painted better than all my painting.
That reminds me of like going like classic game shopping, and do you like open it up and see like someone's like notes or like someone who kept the receipt in there, where you're just like, I wonder what this guy was, who owned this before, what it was like, and what caused them to turn this in.
Nick stumbled into like what was about, I want to say it was something like crazy, like 60 miniatures that were all extremely well painted, that were at a Edward McKay's for like nothing, for fucking nothing. And like some of these were some very hard to come by miniatures now, like from early, like I said, this is like 3rd edition, 2nd edition Chaos Space Marines, and then some stuff from even like old like 91, 92 Warhammer Fantasy models. And we talked about a lot about someone put a lot of love and care into these things, and we really hope they're not stolen. But yeah, it is that whole thing. Like you're seeing someone's passions from the past, and it's a cool little thing. I can't ever consider like repainting over that. Like it's someone did a wonderful job, and I hope they know that is now in my collection.
Game Informer had a series where they bought a bunch of memory cards from used game stores and would go and pull up the files and try to figure out who the person was based on what their files were. And they got like one where they got a bunch of, they had a WWE save, so they're like, oh, custom wrestlers. This is gonna be like a deep dive into the guy's soul, and that was really fun. That's
cool. Also, I wonder how many of those files are just named A. No, in all seriousness, give me a quick rundown on Sonic. I'm not going to pretend to have an opinion on this.
It's a very chillaxing game. Like, it's now my go-to, turn my brain off, relax, run around the open world, do some platforming challenges type game. They ripped off Breath of the Wild pretty intently, which, I mean, if you're going to take a blueprint from a game, if you're going to rip off something, Breath of the Wild is a pretty good blueprint to rip off. You have an open world, you have like little shrine areas, but instead of shrines, they take you into 3D Sonic levels that are like bite-sized, minute-long stretches of going fast. There's a fishing mini game where you chill out with Big the Cat and fish for treasure chests and unlock fast travel. I sound like an insane person describing this thing. There's a 60 frames a second mode, which makes this game run very well. Sonic has more in-depth combat and combo moves than he's ever had. He has a combo meter. They do the Bayonetta in the loading screens, the ability to test your like combos and your ability to test your free-flowing like traversal techniques into each other. You can do like a dash into like a dive bounce to get back up and then do another dash, and it is the way you can chain like wall runs and stuff together is like really smart in a lot of ways. There are grind rails everywhere, and the more you do around the open world, the more grind rails happen, and you don't know exactly where you're going to go when you hop on one. So it's more like, let's figure this out. It's kind of like a 3D collectathon in that every single thing you do, you get a thing that unlock progress to go to the next thing. Yeah, it's hard for me to describe this thing without showing it because it's more like you have to see this to believe this sort of thing. But I'm having a blast with it. It's actually a lot of fun and relaxing in a lot of ways. The boss fights in the open world, you'll just stumble upon a giant tower that all of a sudden wants to kill you. Sonic has a really cool move where you hold the triangle button and you can draw or trace a trail. And everything, if you do a complete circle, everything in that trail will do like an armor busting move. So that's kind of like your shield bash. Is just like do like a quick run around, like a flash tornado around somebody. So that's really cool. This game's do I want to call it great? I don't know. I'm having a good time with it, which is all I need. So that's my time with Sonic Frontiers. I'm going to play more of it, but I feel like it's going to be more of the same for a long time. They announced today that they're doing a lot of free updates for this thing, including new playable characters for free, a new story chapter for free, and a bunch of like outfits for Sonic, including a Santa Claus outfit. So they know exactly what they're doing. I'm having a blast with it.
I'm glad you're having fun. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, this fucking Sonic.
But think about it this way. This is the one, as someone who talks about Sonic on the show, basically just the games I played growing up and like the past stuff and the new movie, which was pretty good. I haven't touched like a Sonic game since like Colors on the Wii. Everything else after that and some of the stuff before that, like Sonic 06, just looked terrible. To have it be so long and have a game look interesting to the point where I play it and go, this is really ambitious and fun. It doesn't all click, but there's a good foundation here for the future. That's really exciting. Like, we're in a good place finally.
Listen, I'm glad that it's something you're enjoying. I just know that we go to video games sometimes for different reasons. And it's one of those things where, like, Sonic and me, we don't hang in the same neighborhood. Me and Sonic, we're not homies, all right? But I am glad that you're enjoying it, and I'm glad that it seems to be at least a good one of those. Let's talk about something that is completely different. I played a bunch of different stuff this week. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about, and the thing that sticks out is the release of Warzone 2. Call of Duty Warzone 2.
I have some questions about that.
In particular, the DMZ mode, which I have played a lot of with our friend of the show, Nick. Are you aware of the game Escape from Tokarov?
I've heard of it. I have no foundation for what that is. Is it a battle royale?
Not really. So
okay.
DMZ is Warzone 2 has launched with a version of Warzone where you jump out of a plane with a squad. It battle royale. You find stuff. You try to survive to the end.
Does it have a gulag?
It has a gulag. The gulag is now 2-on-2.
Ooh, that's interesting.
If you take too long, a juggernaut with a Gatling gun shows up and kills all of you. But if you team up and you kill the juggernaut, you all escape.
Oh, so that's interesting.
There is and we'll talk about this in DMZ too. There is a lot of good thought put into the fact that there is proximity chat now. So if you are close to people, you can talk to them. So, like, if you are in the gulag, you could theoretically just be like, listen, everybody calm down real quick. How about we all shoot the juggernaut when he shows up and we get out of here all together? And if they agree, you can all do that. Now, you got to trust them not to just shoot you in the head when they're, But they've taken that proximity chat into consideration. Because
that's
also
really
with the 2-on-2, you're not necessarily with your squad, So it might just be a random guy you're teamed up with. That if you go back into the war zone, you're gonna have to kill that guy if you want to win. So it's an interesting dynamic. The DMZ mode is we've been playing is a version of the Warzone. The map is humongous. You enter the map with other squads. You do not do a jump at the beginning. It just spawns you in areas around the map.
Okay.
And you have missions that you can take inside of the area. So these might be extracting a weapons case, or breaking into a safe, or taking over these things called strongholds. Think of them as like a building that's going to be a really tough building to take over.
Okay.
Because there is a large number of AI enemy now. These AI do not fuck around. They will drop you in a second. So
Okay.
yeah, so there's a large number of AI enemies. They will spawn in and attack you at points with helicopters and jeeps and this, that, and the other. There are sort of like mini bosses inside the DMZ. There is one right now that is carrying a weapon that is exclusive to DMZ, that if you can extract the weapon with, you can get it unlocked. You are getting equipment and taking things out of the DMZ anytime you want. You can extract anytime. You can go to an area that's labeled an extraction point, call a helicopter in, get on the helicopter, and get out. Anything you've got on you when you leave, you keep. But if you die inside of the DMZ, you're dead, and all your stuff gets lost. So if you're carrying like a 4-plate vest that gives you a bunch of body armor, and you die, well, no longer do you have that 4-plate vest. You're back to a single plate. If you got like a gas mask, or if you got certain guns, and you die with those guns, you lose them. It gives you one slot that you can put a weapon in as like a safety net to keep one gun, but a lot of them you're going to lose if you die inside the DMZ. You have these different missions that you're trying to complete, taking over buildings, finding laptops, stuff like that. And all that is factored into the fact that there is a large number of other squads inside the DMZ that are trying to complete missions as well.
Are they the same missions, or are they different missions?
You will all start off with 3 kinds of missions, but there are so many different places to do them at. You have options, but once you complete like the basic tutorial mission set, it unlocks a whole mess of them, and that's going to be a whole bunch of things. But so you are running into these real life squads in the process of trying to complete these missions. And when you do things like get a weapons case, which is a thing you can find, it will now mark you on the map. So if you're trying to extract that weapons case, everyone on the map sees where you're at. They might try to just go steal it from you before you could extract it, let you do all the hard work, and then kill you when you're getting on your helicopter. Same thing with, trying to, get out the special guns or whatever. I've enjoyed it. We talked a lot.
Okay.
Me and Nick got very, very deep into it for a while. Some of the mission variety is a little bit kind of bland. It just depends on which missions you take.
Run over to this thing and press X.
Well, there's some of them that'll extract 20 laptops, and it's like, that's kind of, it reminds me of like a Ubisoft Assassin's Creed side quest, or something like that. But then there's some that are really cool. I like the taking over strongholds. You have to find keys that allow you to break into strongholds, and then those are like boss fights. You're just fighting a ton of enemies, and enemies are showing up outside and storming the building. And then there's always the fear of you're in there fighting this massive group of enemies, and then here comes a squad when you're done to kill you and take over the stronghold and gets credit for it. There's always that fear. The proximity chat stuff is kind of cool. I've seen a lot of fun stuff with that where you get to the negotiation point where, hey, I'm on a rooftop overlooking this helicopter. I want to extract and you want to extract. Maybe we all just get on the same helicopter and have a good day. Ain't no reason for all this to happen. And then
I kind of like that a lot, because does it encourage I'm sure there's some servers where there's some role playing going on.
I don't know if it's like role playing as much as like there's been like people who are downing guys, and they'll show up and be like, okay, I'm gonna let you self revive, but when you get up, you're gonna drop all your stuff and you're gonna leave, because you have those kind of opportunities to talk to the opponents. It can be a situation where it's like, I'm gonna let you go, but you're gonna give me all your stuff. There's also hey, you're by yourself here. I've got all three of my buddies, or all two of my buddies with me. You drop your stuff and you can walk away. That kind of thing. We had a cool moment where me and Nick were trying to extract some. I think we had some guns that we really liked, and we figured we were gonna bail with them, and a couple of stronghold keys. And so we called the helicopter in, and little did we know that camping on the helicopter right above on the building right above where the helicopter came in was a whole squad. So there was a massive firefight at the end of me and Nick trying to fight our way onto the helicopter, and Nick gets taken out, and I'm on the back of the helicopter shooting, trying to kill. Had to leave Nick behind. There's no listen. You gotta do what you gotta do in the DMZ. But I really enjoy that mode a lot. I've liked a lot of the Modern Warfare 2 movement, how it feels. I like it a lot. I like how the guns feel. The AI in that game is no joke in DMZ. They will drop you just as fast as you can get dropped by a regular opponent. Sometimes getting shot at by them, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's a human opponent or an AI. It's solid. It's very, very good. Free to play, obviously, so you can go jump on that now with no area of problems.
2 questions.
Yes.
Is it a new download client, or is it the same Warzone client? They just update it like they do Fortnite.
I think it's a new one.
Okay.
I downloaded it. I did not have Warzone on my hard drive, so I just downloaded it.
No one should.
There. Yeah, because it's like a 700 gig. But
my next question is, how many gigs is this one?
It's large, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
I mean, if you thought you were going to get a nice tight 40 gig download, you were going into it. Get it started before you go to bed and let it finish overnight. That's what I did. I just, okay, we'll start it and go to bed. Just kind of do it that way.
It's starting that download, which is keeping me from having it downloaded yet. Because I'm like, I know I'm going to have to clear some space on the PS5 for it. So then it's the juggling of which game do I delete for it. So I'm like, I don't want to do that mental math quite yet. So
I mean, it's very good. Also, we've been playing crossplay, which works well.
I would jump in on that eventually.
Yeah, it's
once
good.
I finally do that.
Like I said, and the negotiation stuff is fun, and the talking junk to people. There's something fun about getting shot at from a dude from below you, and even though he's not, because a lot of games do that whole clip of dialogue. Like, you can say something right after you get killed and the guy who killed you will hear you, kind of thing. But because this is proximity chat, you can get these, fun little moments of shooting down a hallway and them shooting back and everybody taking cover and being like, you know what, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Nah, fuck you. Just you're in 2 different rooms, popping out and shooting at each other, talking shit to each other.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. It leads to fun little moments, and also it leads to, if you mess up your shots real bad, you're gonna hear it. So don't be blowing your shots. But it seems very good, and also it seems like from just the feel of the game in general, it feels really good. I've had a couple of good moments. I dropped a squad by myself one time, and that felt pretty nice.
That those are the moments that make
it's
that
also,
whole experience worth it.
That game plays like a Call of Duty that I spent a lot of time with as a younger man. That's a 15-year-old Eric Call of Duty game right there. So those muscle memories still in there.
Oh, that's right. This is the same build as Modern Warfare 2, right?
It's
I've heard
got
nothing but good things about that.
Yeah, but it's got the similar movement speed and stuff like that. It feels more like an older Call of Duty than it doesn't feel like what Vanguard and stuff was, where it was very movement heavy and a lot of like canceling slides and weapon and reload cancels and all that stuff. This feels a lot more like deliberate and therefore, in my opinion, a lot more fun. But that just maybe is my old man in me. But yeah, it's good. Warzone 2. I played some of the Warzone 2, but the DMZ mode I like a lot. If I have some time after this, I might play some of that. I play a couple of other things, but mostly that was stuff like Vampire Survivors and stuff like that. Like I said, I've had the flu for the past 5 days, and I don't play a lot of video games when I'm sick because for some reason it just I can't focus on them. So I just sit around and watch dumb stuff on YouTube or something. So yeah, it's Warzone 2 was my one I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, by the next episode, I'll be able to talk about Darktide, because that will be out.
That's right.
Yes. Should be out, what, tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow.
This is a big week for games.
Yeah, it's a big week for games. Callisto Protocol comes out on, what, Friday? I think it's
Marvel
Callisto
Midnight
Protocol.
Suns.
Yeah, Midnight Suns. Darktide. Yeah, quite a few big things. And then, we're still coming off of releases like God of War. So, there's a lot of big stuff. A lot of big stuff recently. Let's talk about a video game that was released not this week. Listen, I'm just now getting back in the swing of things. That's the best kind of segue you're gonna get.
Vanquish.
Real quick before that, Kill Team update of the week. Played a game that ended in a very, very tight 3-3 draw. First draw I've ever had. Kind of dissatisfied with that because I made a massive comeback and didn't get to rub it in anybody's face. But a 3-3 draw on an intercessor game. Hopefully I can get back on the swing of things. I've been playing pretty damn good the past 4 or 5 games. I think I've won 1, lost 1, had a draw, and then I lost 1 by 1. So I've been playing a lot better recently. But yeah, let's get back to Vanquish. That's just the Kill Team update of the week. Mike.
Yes.
Me and you have vastly different opinions on this video game.
You can already tell by the big smile on my face. I
don't dislike this video game at all. Actually, I don't dislike it. I have questions why certain things were not done, and I wish they would have got to some stuff sooner.
I agree with that second statement because so I found myself iffy on the first half of the game. I love the second half of this game. I had a blast in the last few hours of Vanquish, and just the way it changed. We'll get into it, but just the way it changed up. It does the thing when you do get to a halfway point of a really good game. Is all right, now we're gonna change up some stuff. Here's a sniper sequence. Here's just the Reaper charge for Mass Effect 3. Here's a T-1000. There's a zero gravity zone. Just the stuff it throws at you for every single chapter has a unique draw to it, to the point where my notes on this chapter are even on this section are even more extensive because I have written down what each set piece is, and they're all memorable, to the point where I can barely remember besides some of the bosses, some of the set piece decisions in the first half, because the stuff that they do in the second half I thought were really creative and a lot of fun. I had a blast with the second half of Vanquished.
I'm sitting here going, listen, the combat in Vanquish is fun.
Yes.
I'm not taking that away. That's one of the reasons why I enjoyed the first part so much, and that's consistent throughout the whole thing. The mixing up stuff was very hit or miss for me. Those things I liked the zero G stuff was fine, but I didn't feel like there was much to it really. I still could gun down people. I've got pretty damn good at this thing in the second half, to the point that I was just not having to do much. I had the heavy machine gun was like the go-to gun that just walked.
Yeah, once you have your 3 or 4 guns that you like I know I'm never gonna grab the life gun unless I'm in a pinch.
Yeah, life gun useless. Yeah. Disc guns useless.
At this point of the game, yeah. Anything that's not upgraded to at least like a 4-star upgrade tree is going to be useless to me. Except that armored pistol. I didn't upgrade that a lot, but that was still one-shotting dudes near the end of this game.
Yeah, see, I just had the heavy machine gun, I think the shotgun, which I barely used, and a rocket launcher. And
always keep a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and the machine gun it's just like bam, 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 head, everything's dead. And so I felt like a lot of the kind of quote unquote like big set pieces, it's like I'm not having to engage with this much because I can just shoot everything so damn fast. It's like also with the sliding. I realized I didn't slide much because I could just hit everything so quick, and nothing's really like, I don't know if I just figured out how their enemy AI walked, and so it just wasn't giving me any trouble. But like, I was hoping for some like upgrades to the suit. Maybe lets you slide more, lets you do more melee, not have to have a reset every time you punch something.
That is the biggest bummer with the combat that never shaken up. Is the one punch is like doing any type of melee attack will completely drain your meter. That is still like a buzzkill every time you do it. But I've gotten a lot better this section with my management of that meter, trying to keep it just before it like cuts off, before I'm like hide it, and then relying on dodge rolls, because I realize this game has a really good and a really fast dodge roll, to the point where if you just keep doing it to the closest cover, you're probably not going to die.
Yeah, unless you get hit by one of like the massive beam weapons or something like that, you could usually just dive, and be fine. But yeah, I was sitting there, I was just like, the combat's not a problem. It's just I never really felt like anything they did. They throw like the big enemies at you, but I got pretty just good at with the guy with the pack, shoot the pack. I can headshot him like a motherfucker. So it's just I stopped having any kind of issues. And I was playing on normal, so I wasn't really playing on, like, I thought, usually, by this point you're competent at the game, but I was just like, I'm not having to engage in a lot of these situations because I'm just shooting stuff in the head and moving on. And the fact that they don't give you any, like, upgrades to the suit, and, like, the melee still, they don't really allow you to go heavy into the melee stuff because it resets the power level every time. I didn't keep a lot of notes on this sections. There was a couple of really standout moments here and there, but like even the bosses they start throwing at you. You talked about the Terminator guy. I like the fact that you can catch the blade.
Yeah,
that's cool. But I want more of that and less of just shooting them, because I ran into moment, and that's kind of the story of the game for me, is this cool stuff I feel like they just don't give you enough of. Like, I talked about this last time where I was like, why is it that we feel that the suit needs to overheat so quick? And you kind of like, well, maybe going forward, we'll get an upgrade or something.
And we do, but it's the in-game
it's like
thing
the last
that doesn't really count. Is that last 2 seconds cathartic and fun?
That guy was like dead by the time it triggered that for me. Like, I think I hit him with a rocket right afterwards, and down he went. So I was like, I didn't have any.
Is it possible that I had more fun with the game because I'm worse at it? So when I got better at the game, I was like right on that level of like, I still have to play careful, but I'm like, because if I'm not careful, I'll die. But also, like, I died a lot less in the second half. I think I died something like 25 to 30 times in the first half, and only
God
like
damn.
5. Yeah, I was bad at this game, but I only died like 5 to 10 in the second half.
Okay.
It was that hill charge where you're going up the hill and going left. That accounted for like 10 of my deaths. Like, I was banging my head against the wall of that one mission over and over again. But I barely died in this section a lot. Like, the most I died on a single mission was like 2.
I think that I learned very quickly that the way I wanted to play the game wasn't going to let me. Because I wanted to be kind of constantly in motion, constantly sliding, shooting, meleeing, triggering the slow motions here and there. But to be honest with you, the only time the slow motions ever got triggered much for me was when they get triggered when you get hit, with a decent amount of damage. But even then, that's such a kind of hefty slow motion period. You can clear the room with one slow motion. So yeah, I felt like when I realized the game wasn't going to let me kind of play it at the speed I wanted to play it at. I just got real good at, move, cover, shoot, head, EMP. Never use a frag. Why would you use a frag when you have EMPs?
Oh, use the frag after you do those EMPs because they're just standing still, and then you can do an area effect to blow them all back.
That's when you just shoot them in the head. You just shoot them in the head.
And it's not explosion's so fun.
But they won't let me they won't let me play it the way I want to damn play it, which is get into people's faces and punch them with the crazy anime 16 punches or punching guys up in the air. Because every time I do it, I can do it once, but then I've got no, you'll stand out in the middle of the open with your ass exposed with the overcharged pack. And it's just like when I realized the game wasn't going to let me move fast and it was going to just kind of constantly take that ability away from me, it's just like I'm just going to shoot everybody then.
I did save those for like the last like guys in the room, just like charge, backflip, do the slow motion with the gun, and just like knock down just like a domino, like 3 dudes in a row, and that is fun every single time.
That's the thing. It's fun. So why is it that every time you do it, you gotta wait a damn 30 seconds to do it again? It's like in Doom Eternal. If every time you did a glory kill, it's like, okay, now that's on recharge for 2 minutes. And it's like, no, it's fun to rip people's heads off. So let's not make that be a recharge thing.
Even on the second half for me, like it was kind of fun being in cover and then watching that bar fill up like as the bullets are flying. Like, come on, I just need a little bit more, and then I can get back in the fight. And then once it loaded up, then dipping out of cover to do like the slow motion, and then going to a slide to move further up on the battlefield. Something clicked this time as opposed to last time, to where I was in full Vanquish enjoyment mode. So it probably ended at a good spot for me, because I feel like right when I was starting to get a little tired of it and wanted to wrap up, that's when it ended for me. So I think the fact that it did take me a while for this game to finally click for me made me enjoy the second half, because then I was all high all the time. Like, when I felt powerful and got the combat, I'm like, I understand this. I'm dying a lot less. I'm having a blast now. So
yeah, I think I died like maybe 7 times, 8 times in the whole game.
Ow.
So like
deflated.
the game wasn't killing me. So that's the thing. I think what it is I kind of got to the point where maybe this is just the way I played it, where at first I was like, this is how I want to play this. Every time I slide and I'm shooting things when I'm sliding, I'm having a good time. Every time I'm doing these crazy over-the-top melees, I'm having a good time. But that's just it just leaves you out in the open getting shot. So if it's not going to let me do that all the time, I don't want to sit behind a piece of rock and wait 30 seconds every 5 minutes. I'm just going to shoot everything. And when I did that, everything just died. And it, like I said, the combat's still very good, but it was just like I felt like it wasn't I wasn't being forced to engage with much stuff because I was able to just shoot everything real quick. I wasn't making me use the slide to get around the enemies. It wasn't making me use the trigger a melee attack or anything like that. It's just like, well, I can just stand back here and shoot it, and that'll walk.
Except like moments like what was he called again? The crystal dude. I just call him the T-1000, and that kind of wrapped up my notes. But that guy, where there's moments where he turns invisible, and you gotta be ready to hit the square or X button when he pops up to hit that combo, and then do the quick time event to knock off a portion of his health.
Or you can just slide, and he won't be able to track you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think also, and this is something I'm realizing right now, I don't do this with most genres of games, but shooters is the genre that I play the most. It just is. And I've played them for the longest amount of time. And so, like, very quickly I realized, one, he can't track you when you slide. And they have a lot of issues with that. A lot of the bigger enemies, if you slide, they just can't track you. So what you do is you wait till they shoot their big power attack, and you just slide in a general direction. And as long as you're going horizontal, they can't track you.
That's right, because especially like the bigger like cannon enemies near the end of the game, they'll shoot, and then if you slide out of the way, it won't like turn the beam and everything.
Yeah, they don't turn it with you, or like the tank enemies that always end in like a flare of rockets. For some dumb reason that I do not understand. Even if you slide into those rockets, they don't do any damage as long as you're sliding.
But it does look cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
When you see the missiles just fall beside you as you like slide through them, shooting in slow motion.
But there's no reason to shoot at that point because it's dead, which is my problem. I should have had a reason to shoot it while sliding in the first damn place instead of just hiding behind cover and shooting the weak spot. I digress. It hits my issue. It doesn't make me do any of the cool stuff because all the enemies are easy enough to kill with just shooting them. Also, the most effective guns are the ones that are arguably the most boring. Like the heavy machine gun rifle is the boring. It's a light machine gun. It just shoots
the pistol,
a lot of bullets.
And the most unique guns are the absolute worst. The life gun where it shoots a big bubble. The blade launcher, which seems cool on paper, and then you do it and it doesn't do any damage.
The rocket launcher has a lock-on ability that there's no reason for because it takes so long. So you just shoot, and you can't like lock on as you just slide away and stuff. So
I thought I like locked on to. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought I like locked on to like a specific weak point, so you would do more damage.
It might, but I would just aim at the weak point real quick. You just quick aim it, and then switch weapons and switch back weapons again, so it's reloaded and shoot again.
Wait, that's a thing you can.
That's usually how I treated the rocket launcher. I don't know if that's the fastest way to do it, but I always felt it was fast. I just switch weapons.
I didn't know you could do the Metal Gear Solid thing of de-equip and then re-equip the gun, and it reloads.
I just did it on the rocket launcher. I don't know if it was the fastest way to do it, but it felt like it was fast for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like the combat is very good, and I'm not going to take away anything of the style of this game. It's damn stylish as hell. Like, all that, I'm not freaking arguing with that at all. And there is highlights to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One of the early parts that we get to is the little stealth sequence, which is kind of a nice little, pace breaker of shooting the spotlights. This is the
first time I realized that this game had music.
Yeah, because it's slow enough for you to actually kind of like listen and pay attention to it and everything. There's so much shooting and bombs and everything else in the game that usually you don't hear the score.
And then when I heard it, I'm like, man, I wish I heard more of this because it's really good. It captures like a cyber noir, like high intensity vibe in a way I appreciate. I listened to some of the songs on the soundtrack after hearing that awesome song and was like, man, I wish I could hear some of these more. But also, that's just the genre of the game. I'm not focusing on the music if I'm constantly like in battle.
Yeah, and also there's constant yelling and robot noises, and it's got a lot of other stuff to take your attention away. But
Yeah.
you do get some of the music during like the cutscenes and stuff like that of Sam running up towers and doing cool shit. Which they do a good job of lots of cool moments where Sam can use the suit in like the quick time events and stuff like that. Which boy, the suit doesn't seem to overheat in all those moments.
That's a good point. Like, you think running on a guy's sword and then kicking him in the chest would instantly make the thing go berserk. But if I punch a dude once, then my suit's like, you can't do that.
I give one haymaker. I think that's my major sticking point, is I really fucking hate that overheating mechanic. I think that's like, if I the more I talk about it, the more I think, I hate that fucking overheating mechanic.
It just touched too long.
Well, it's just too... why using a fun mechanic triggers a stopping of me having fun? Like, why is it that I'm having fun using your mechanic, and therefore you must stop me? Because it's not even like the sliding and the stuff like that is that game-breaking. And if, that's the game-breaking moment, there's still a challenge to it. You still have to be good enough at aiming and positioning and movement to shoot and hit things as you slide. If you say, well, the enemy AI can't track you well enough to actually hit you in those moments. So that's why it causes you to do the overheating. So you can't just slide around and never get shot. Well, some could say that the problem is you need to be able to fix that on your end. But also...
I feel like the balance of that would be maybe... have the option to do more melee attacks, but then make your slow motion window shorter. Like, make it burn more energy.
Yeah, the slow motion window in my mind is too long. I mean, you can pretty much clear, like, everything in front of you. Like, because there'll be times you'll walk in, get hit by a big power weapon, and then, here goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The fight with the Colonel was like that. Where just every time he hit me into slow-mo, I just killed every Marine. And then spent, there was times where I was, like, just halfway through a clip on the heavy weapon into his head. And it's like, man, he's just standing here, let me do this, I was like, I got the bulk of the damage off of him every time I went into slow-mo.
Turns out Burns, not your dad.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Just kind of talking about some highlights here, though, is like, let's talk about the stealth section. It's not a challenging section, but something I learned. Video games teach you when you find guns, like in this, it has multiple sniper rifles, because you have to use the sniper rifle to shoot out the spotlights.
Yeah.
But if you were to, say, walk around and pick up all the sniper rifles, instead of it just giving you all that ammunition or not letting you pick up the weapon when you have full ammunition, it just lets you pick them all up. So what will happen is you will get 14 shots, pick up all the sniper rifles, it'll only give you 14 shots, and you won't have enough shots to complete the mission.
Oh, no.
That is a fucking stupid. Like, whoever... Like... The video games have fixed that. What you do is you walk up and it's like, you've got a full version of this. You don't get to pick this up now. But the fact that I soft locked myself out of that twice. Once, once because the mission started, I picked them all up just thinking, well, I'm going to need all this ammunition for these sniper rifles. And then I get to a point where I was like, shit, I don't have any more ammunition for this. I can't use the other guns because they're not silenced. And then I was like, well, shit, how am I supposed to do this? And I was sitting there, restarted the mission, which is a slow mission of just sitting there, waiting. Half the time you shoot everything, and then you just spend half the time just waiting for you to pass it. I was like, oh, motherfucker. I was like, I wonder if this is what they did. And I did it just to see and prove myself right. But yeah, it just would not let you... Yeah, it just picks up whether... you needed the ammunition or not. That's wonderful. I enjoyed that. So soft locked myself into that one twice. Not a good way to start this section.
No.
But I appreciate the attempt at like, hey, let's slow things down a little bit in this game that's all bombastic. But it just kind of was there.
It reminds me of like the stealth bomber missions in like an Ace Combat game. Something that was like a little more like, well, those are a lot more intense for different reasons because you're going a lot faster, dodging spotlights. This one's a lot more slower pace, but it feels like a moment. It's weird to have like a moment to breathe when we're starting out, because assuming that you're just playing this game, you're probably doing it on a weekend versus how like we broke it up and everything, because it was coming back to the game and then seeing this section here.
It could have. I think they would have been nice if it would have done more like title windows on that stuff.
Yeah,
make things a little bit more difficult, because it's
I
like
did sorry.
Go ahead.
I do like it with the most intense part of it was like when the transports started flying overhead, so you had to aim your shots to like quickly kill the pilot of that to make the whole thing explode.
That's all great. I would want him if they would have done more enemies to shoot instead of the spotlights. That'd been great, because the spots with the transports was fun. The spotlights, it was like they got so much time. It's just a bat, and then you spend like 20 minutes, just kind of smoking cigarettes and throwing them up in the air. I guess that leads us up to like the fighting up to the tower.
The Creon, we get underneath it, and then it turns into a giant freaking gun, and then it's the Reaper charge from Mass Effect 3, where you're moving down this path, dodging enemies while there's a big laser shooting at you. This section rules.
No, this was probably a highlight for sure. Anytime it was giving you like massive, overcharged weapons firing at you that take up like half the screen, it was really, really good. Like, I like all that stuff, because then it's like it gives you a reason to use the slide. It gives you a reason to do all the jumping over stuff. All that was cool. There was a lot of different like fights with tanks and the spider mechs that you got to fight.
Then they have like the sequence with you have to fight the Creon's foot as it tries to stomp you as things are shooting you. So you got to like slide underneath it in slow motion and shoot up underneath it.
Shoot up underneath it, and then to stop it, because if it crushes down, then it releases a bunch of like fire and stuff. That was cool.
So you had to get close, but the minute like it had to stomp down, you had to quickly boost back. While also being in cover, because you also have a giant laser beam that's shooting at you, and that stuff. It sounds difficult to manage, but managing it wasn't super hard, and because of that, was like. This was probably my favorite section in here.
No, this is
the tone
very high. This is a very
sharp.
high point. You also like defend the tanks that are going in after it, so you gotta like take down the mechs as they're coming in, so they don't blow up the tanks. All that stuff is really neat.
Also, on the same section too, there's the bit where the intense fight against army with burning. Yeah, this is where like you get close to the mechanics of it, and it's on like fire, so you can't use any of like your boosting abilities. So then it becomes like
which goes back to my original point of I wasn't really using them a lot, because every time they overheated anyway, I was like, this seems like a normal day here. But this whole section was really, really good, leading up to you getting to the top of the whole thing, and you have a cool moment when you rip off the damn cage and you rip the whole like power coil thing off. All that stuff is neat. It's classic mech suit shenanigans. Which, when the game wants to do that, is very, very good at it. Like the mech suit fighting stuff is the highlight in this game for me. So anytime we can see Sam doing cool shit like that is cool.
The bit where you're doing that sequence and you're like on the carrier and like the buildings are falling onto like the carrier, that's a really cool visual. And as that's happening, not too long after that, you ride up an elevator and there's some robots dancing to a boombox. You can just sit there and watch them dance for a little bit. That was so good.
I think that was one of the few times I used the frag grenades, because I went up there and just kind of watched them and then toss that in the middle there. Y'all have a good day. But yeah, I think this is probably the highlight of the second half in my mind.
For sure.
Yeah, this is a good section, you know.
Yeah, some great cutscenes here too. Like because you destroy the transports, then unplug the wire, the Creon blows up, then you do the helicopter jump from the Winter Soldier, where Falcon jumps out of the window, and then they turn the helicopter sideways as like they catch you at the last second. It's that exact moment. And
it's good. It's mech shenanigans.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, this is the highlight of the second half, for sure.
Oh, it's up there for me. Then my note here is, holy cow, this game is freaking great. Because then because just in a span of like 15 minutes, we get the robot boomboxing, this cutscene, and then the whole awkward salute handshake moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I was like, all right, I love this game now. And then like the soldier, seeing like this game felt like it hit the vibe I can get behind here. Like, you look at the soldier names, and there's one soldier named S. Mikami, like Shinji Mikami. I like the soldier named D. Grassy.
I didn't really even bother with those dudes because I got to the point where, in a lot of ways, like, my favorite thing would be, like, you would just see, like, one of the boss enemies be shooting at you, go to reload, and watch them turn from you to just fuck up a random dude. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, that's mighty convenient. Now, here's your weak spot. And it's just like, well, I guess they were just guys there to get blown up by robots so I could shoot weak spots. After that...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
After this, after the big Creon, it's unclear necessarily story-wise what it is you're supposed to be doing. I wrote, we're heading to a dam for some reason.
That's the way a lot of this game is. It's just like doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like how in most of these kind of like war games, you know, space sci-fi war game stuff, like it always starts off at the beginning with you taking out anti-air guns and you taking out the tanks at the bridge or whatever. But then, you know, a couple missions in, you get the story goes into like effect, and you start having like your personal reasons to do stuff. Like in Halo, like in Halo 1, Combat Evolved. You know, on the ship crashes on Halo, you regroup with everybody, you launch a counterattack, and then you discover what the Halo rings are. And now it's all about like that, and it's like this game does that, but it never gets to the personal reasons to do stuff until like the last 10 minutes.
Why is the president... That's my question. Why is the president?
No, like I think that's another... Like, I feel like this game... I sound super negative on it, but it's because I think I just feel disappointed that it has so much potential. I think the potential for Vanquish is like up to here, like above my head. And what Vanquish was is here. And if I didn't feel like the potential was that high, I wouldn't be so down on it. So, like, you spend... How long did this take you to complete? I'm like 6 hours?
5.5, 6 hours, somewhere
yes,
in there.
Okay, let's say 6 hours. You spend 6 hours playing this video game. 5 of it is just you doing stuff with the Marines. And then there's an hour of it of actual, like, Sam having reasons to do stuff. Like, Sam's just kind of like a Sky fighting in the war, but he just so happens to be the DARPA mech guy.
Yeah.
And then they give you some other stuff at the very end, and there's like... And I feel like that's one of the things that put me off of it, where I was like, why is Sam just running around with the Marines? Like, we get told that the professor is here, and like for most of the game, that's not even Sam's main objective. Sam's going to take out that big gun. Sam's taking out this. He's rescuing these guys. We get the big reveal that the Colonel is a bad guy.
He's working with the president to
but like it's not
get
like
to get the laser.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do this. This fucking makes no sense. None of this makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So,
no.
The game starts off with evil Russian dude taking over the space station and blowing up San Francisco. America goes, I'm trying to blackmail the president. And the president's like, fuck you. And we do
the exact
space
same plot. The exact same plot of Sonic Adventure 2. Kidnaps space laser, uses it to threaten San Francisco and the president.
Yes. So we do Space Normandy. And the one like extra little thing they give us is that the professor is here and we gotta rescue him. But then we forget about him for 5 hours. So we do this big fighting. Then at the last like hour of the game, we find out that no, the president wants a war because it'll help the economy because she's having a bad economy. And I would go, when did this become a thing? And the Colonel.
Metal Gear Solid 4 made it a thing.
Yeah, but it's like if you did that. Okay, listen, I get it. It's the early 2000s. We're coming out of like Iraq, Afghanistan, war for oil. I'm sure it was, everybody wanted to throw it in. I'm fine with that. But, Kojima spent time and effort trying to prove this point or trying to get across this point. He didn't just do it in a 5-minute sequence and say, look at this, though. And I sat there and I'm like, and then it's like, okay, she wants the war. She wants to take the beam and blow up Moscow with it. But I thought we were already at war with them because they blew up San Francisco. She already got what she wanted. She don't even need to. And then they're like,
that's what confused me.
And then they're like, well, she supported our regime that took over. And I was like, well, first of all, like it was like one sentence that said that you took over Russia. So didn't really even do to care about that. The professor's there to shut down the laser and he just gets killed. For no fucking reason. He's a useless
because you think he's the traitor, but it's really Burns who's the traitor.
You know what the true sadness of that is, Michael? I don't give a fuck about any of this because it's done so shitty. I don't care about your story. And it's one of those things where I can forgive it because if you say this is a game that we're here to do cool shit, I'm fine with. But then you don't need to do any of this because I just don't give a fuck. I don't give a flying fuck because it don't make any sense. Then you fight Burns, you shoot at each other for like 20 minutes, and then he somehow is like, hey, I know you just shot me and killed me, but you're still my brother, and I'm going to let you escape. Which made no sense because you just tried to blow me up with rockets like 20 times.
And it's also, like...
fucking bad.
Also, he comes off as heartless because he straight up leaves his men behind, locking the door on him.
Well, he does that like 4 different times.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he's here for the mission. No, he's heartless. But then at the end, he lets Sam go. Because Sam can slide around real good, he has a bond with Sam. Like, it's laughably bad. And it's one of those things where I just sit there and I go... Like, I didn't even know if I was going to bring up the story at all in this because I was just sitting there going like... Then at the end, you fight 2 versions of the guy, but surprise, surprise, he wasn't in any of them. And you blow up the station, and he escapes, and he talks to a vague voice on the radio. And I sat there, I was like, from a story point of view, Vanquish fucking sucks. And at first I was like, well, I looked up, like, he's like the writer of the game is like the 4th person on the credits. And I just looked at him for a second. I'm just like, motherfucker, you stuck your name on this shit, didn't you? I know I'm being a little bit harsh, but it's useless. It's a bad story.
You don't play the final escape. The cardinal sin of this game is that you don't play the final escape sequence. It goes 4 minutes, and then it hard cuts to like 30 seconds left, and then Sam decides to make the escape. I'm like, why aren't we doing a cool countdown taking up half the screen as we're shooting dudes sliding to an exit? That's like...
Why?
Yeah.
Why don't we do many things in this thing? Like, why is it that... we send away our Marine buddies, and then the Marines are our bad guys, which there was some hitbox issues with them, by the way. that you're very, very noticeable in slow motion, that you can sometimes not register shots that are directly connecting with them because their hitboxes are wonky. And my random, unbiased, my unconfirmed theory is that their hitboxes are the same as the robots, and they just swap the skins. And this is not confirmed by any means. Don't stick it on the fucking internet as Eric from Stay of the Save claims. It's just my theory is that they're the same hitboxes. And so that's why sometimes you'll make connection with the guy and it just won't fucking count. Particularly around the head region. Around the head, it's like, damn, I'm hitting him in like the top of the left of the head and it's just not connecting. Oh, I gotta go like 2 centimeters right. But yeah, that's my walking theory. The Barnes fight at the end could have been the final fight, but him running from you is weird because like you just kind of shoot him till he runs away. And then the final fight with the 2 flying mechs is cool and battle.
Yeah.
But we already kind of did that with the fight with the first time, so it's just that times 2 now.
Did you try to whittle down both their health at the same time, or did you focus on one?
I just killed one.
I just focused on blue. And then Red was like, you killed the wrong guy. And it turns out I like that twist because they're both the wrong guy because it's a remote suit. So I bet that would have played out either way. That was fun.
Yeah, I just focused, fired one. Kill one, then deal with the second one.
Best moment of this fight was the quick time event where it's the Dragon Ball Z. They're both like punching at you and Sam's like you're hitting square just to like block all of the attacks one after another.
You use X. Square on PlayStation, X on Xbox. But all that stuff. I mean, it sounds weird to say I like the QuickTime events more than a lot of stuff in this thing, but some of them, like the one with the Terminator dude who comes in and you have to time it just right to block it and knock him back with it and stuff like that. It goes back to I want this game to be a crazy over the top mech suit game, and anytime I'm not doing crazy over the top mech suit stuff, I'm just questioning what's the purpose here. I have some issues with like those particular boss fights at the end. They're fine. Like I said, the last boss fight in particular is good. Yeah, I just kind of wish we didn't do it twice, but it's fine.
I do like having the uncut power suit for that final stage of that fight because it did. I know you said you only did one rocket launcher attack near the end and it was over.
Rocket him, machine gun.
It was mostly just machine gun for me, but it was a lot of fun just being like, it was like the power moment of the game where it reminded me a lot of like the end of like Half-Life 2 with the upgraded gravity gun. Not as impactful as like that moment or even something like what we played Tomb Raider Underworld with Thor's hammer, but it was some nice catharsis of being like, finally. And the way it like immediately, once you get to the end and you're like, oh no, I burned out this meter, just the way it immediately like charges up back to full again was just so much fun zipping around that arena.
It's almost like what could have been. I think that's my biggest issue. I just feel like there's so much potential here, and I just don't feel like it lives up to the potential.
I had a blast with.
No, I ain't taking that away from you. I think that's why it irritates me. Because there's so much that I love about it. It does so much stuff right that it's like, god damn, just like a few changes here and there. It's the losing by 1 is worse than losing by 100. Like you lose by a single goal in hockey, that you leave that night feeling pissed off. You lose by 7, shit, we never in it in the first place, And I feel like this is one of those situations where Like when I played Tomb Raider Underworld, when we played that, I feel like Tomb Raider Underworld missed the mark multiple places, so I was a lot more forgiving of it. And I was like, okay, I see what they're missing here and here and there. Here, I was like, 5 things. I do a YouTube list. 5 things to fix Vanquished. And it's like 5 things, and you had yourself something that's gonna hit on all the cylinders. And it's like these 5 things are holding it back, and I think that's why I came out of it just like frustrated. Well, so it's like it was so close, so fucking close. And Vanquish 2, do a Vanquish 2.
Vanquish 2, yes. We can both agree with that. Vanquish 2, let's go.
Yeah, and like I think that's like my takeaway from this is it's just a ton of potential that if they did a Vanquish 2. First of all, whoever wrote this thing, don't let them get near it. Let's just get somebody else. I would be fascinated if that guy has like a ton of like high quality writing credits. Like he's just got like, you know, like a ton of like best Hugo award winning novels and this, that, and the other. And this was, if it is, someone got to his script, and I feel bad for him. The one thing I will say, though, and I wonder about, is I'm playing this on an Xbox Series X in the year 2022. There's all these, like, little text stuff that pops up in loading screens that I never see because the game loads so fast.
Well, it's too fast.
I wonder if his story is flushed out in those. I'll give the guy some credit. Maybe he fixed all these complaints and they're just in the flushed out little text stuff that pops up too quick for me. You're looking up his writing credits, aren't you?
Yeah. We have 2 guys, Hiroki Kato and Jean-Pierre Calams.
Jean-Pierre Calams is the one who I want to say was labeled in the beginning of the credits as the writer.
Gotcha. Here's IMDb. Oh, yeah, alright. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Oh, sound department for Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
They got the sound guy to write Vanquished.
Okay, this is some weird credits. Okay, writer for Vanquished, additional crew for Bayonetta, the sound department in Metal Gear Rising, and additional crew for The Wonderful 101. But wait,
I feel like
some more story. Writing an English localization. Oh, he's a localizer.
I'm going to say that this poor guy got handed like a weekend to write a story. And he's like, I don't write fucking stories. And they're like, figure it out. If that's what we're going to go with. He sounds like this is not his main gig. Which in that case makes it a lot more forgivable. In that case. A lot more forgivable. And I give him credit for trying to go there. Because, like, I love the scene. That's the scene where the president shoots herself.
The Japanese
and I was
writer.
Sitting there.
His only IMDb credit is Vanquished.
It seems about right. But the scene where the president shoots herself, and I was sitting there going, like, okay, let's break this down real quick. Who knows? Because everybody who knew about your plan, other than Sam, was on that ship that just blew up. And you think Sam's dead because Sam's escape pod says he's KIA. So how would she know that her plan didn't get solved? She doesn't. It's just like one of those things where it's like I just sat there and laughed a lot at this concept.
Well, DARPA knew about it.
How?
Well, because wasn't Elena always in like Sam's ear to know?
Okay, so Elena knows about it. There is no implication that like there's a higher connection to DARPA from her. It's just her and Sam.
That's fair.
There's
it's dumb. This is a weird ending.
Like you're filling in logic holes that are not there for you to fill in because there is no logic. Like also there's no like setup for like what Sam's next, like there is a cliffhanger ending, and yet Sam is just like, I guess we did it. It's like, what did you accomplish? You accomplished nothing. You
Russian
mission
guy.
failed. No, you didn't defeat the bad guy. He escaped. The professor you were there to save is dead. you blew up the big fucking the colony that killed God knows how many people, and now all that debris is falling to Earth, probably causing an apocalyptic scenario in which half the world's gonna die in falling asteroids. And Sam's just like, "Hey man, I guess we can go home." You accomplished nothing.
Here's a weird little romantic beat with your superior.
Well, apparently they're already dating. They were dating before. Yeah, if you played the tutorial mission, he takes her out to dinner on a tutorial mission.
I missed that bit.
But yeah, you accomplished nothing. You came, you did nothing.
Here's triumphant credits music. That sounds like the Galaxy Quest theme. I was trying to place it. I was like, what does this sound like? And then I listened to the Galaxy Quest theme, and I was like, oh my god, it's a dead ringer. It's insane how close it is. And
you play a little mini game where you shoot the asteroids. I like that. I thought that was kind of fun. It's a good way to make people watch your credits.
Shinji Mikami was the toughest to take down. He had like 4 asteroids guarding him and everything. That was fun.
It was cute. Yeah, I like all that.
This game rules.
It's a fun video game, but I think I can't forgive what it could be. Stories, throw the story shit out the window. Let's throw that all out the window. That's not what type of game it is. Who cares? No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm throwing. But it also, when you make something bad, it's just,
true.
But story stuff thrown out the window is not that kind of game. I feel like it's so close to being at that maximum potential that I just left frustrated. Vanquish 2 would be a wonderful fucking video game.
How can you be mad at a story that gave us such lines as "Thank God I'm an atheist," followed immediately by "Glug glug, bitches."
Some fucker wrote that shit in an Excel document. And I think, yeah. No, Carter's great. Say what you want about him. He's got like a bomb in his arm. Just does.
Naturally. I mean, if you have a robot arm, what else are you gonna put?
He got a lot of ammunition in there. Don't know how that works. But yeah, Vanquished. I feel like I just left frustrated with what could have been, but I'm still glad we played it. It's off my to play pal. I didn't regret playing it. I enjoyed playing it. It's just I sat there the whole time being like, this could be better. This could be better. 5 things. BuzzFeed article right here will fix Vanquished.
Number 4 will surprise and amaze you.
No, it's got to be like number 3. It's got to get you through at least half the list. We got to get through the clicks.
But it can't be number 1. Number 1's not the most surprising.
No, because at that point we don't really give a shit, because half the time number 1's just an ad. I mean, once we get past the one that will surprise you, we just phone it in the rest of the way. Here's the thing you don't know. Go ahead.
You mentioning it was the first time I thought of BuzzFeed in like years.
What you don't know is that's my side gig. I just write like 45 BuzzFeed articles a day. It's just like 5 reasons why you shouldn't wear green after Labor Day. And then 2 days later, 7 reasons why green should be the main color after Labor Day.
Before we move on, I have one more question about the story of this game. What does what does RI stand for? We said we got RIs, and I was like 4 chapters in. I have no clue what an RI stands for.
Russian intelligence.
Oh, my mistake.
The sad thing is I made that completely up, but there's a good chance I'm right. Yeah, I don't know. It never really.
Oh, okay. You convinced me. I was like, I have no reason to believe it's not.
I should have just been like Russian intelligence. That's what it means. It's like AI, artificial intelligence. RI, Russian intelligence. They are Russian artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
The fun part is, I could be correct. Yeah. It kind of leads us in a weird point because there's no game to talk about for next time. So, I guess we'll bring it home. And stateofthesave@gmail.com. State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Are we gonna keep that Twitter?
It's up. I haven't done anything with it in a while.
A part of me just wants to ride that train out to the end. Because after a while, that things get big, like bad enough, then you could just be like the biggest king of the shit mountain. Like all the rats are fleeing, and you just stay long enough to be king of shit mountain.
Stay the Save is now on on Hive, because I followed all the Twitter people who were leaving and been like, we're gonna be the biggest podcast on Hive. I
did not even know what Hive is.
I found out about it a few days ago.
Okay. Wait a second.
Hive now.
Hive's not like Truth or nothing, is it? Like, no. It's not some crazy Trump website, is it? What are you putting us on, bro?
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I'm gonna keep an eye on
the
you,
people
man.
The people I followed there were good people.
Okay, we trust those people.
I trust these people.
Is one of them Dan Reichel? Because I don't trust Dan Reichel.
Oh, I followed Dan Reichert. Dan Reichert was the one that was like, I'll see what this is.
That's the problem. Dan Reichel has led us into the valley of the snakes.
Yet again.
Yes. Go ahead.
That's it. Yet again.
Yet again. Yeah. So follow us on those things. Send in your emails to Stay of the Save. We have a lot of big changes coming up with Season 4. Season 4 is going to be kind of like a relaunch, sort of, kind of. Also, we got our, like, year-end wrap-up stuff, and now I'm just more confused than ever. Because apparently we have listeners in 12 countries. So, hello to all 12 of you. All 12 countries.
That's just on one platform that we have the 12 listeners from.
On one platform, yes.
Yeah. Our Spotify rep came out and was like, thank you all of you guys for listening and supporting us. It's always fun looking at the numbers and going, wait, what now? How many?
It's weird
to the number of you who are we're your number one most listened to podcast on Spotify. Thank you. Surprising, really, thank you. Genuinely, that's amazing.
We appreciate it. It was a higher number than I thought it was going to be, and that's just Spotify. We don't get fancy analytics for. We're on like goddamn how many platforms are we on? Like 20. We only get really fancy analytics for Spotify. So yeah, that was really nice. It was nice to see all those people deciding to show us that they listen to our show. We appreciate it. Shoot an email. We'll read it on the holiday special. Or send us a message on one of the social media platforms. Send it to us on Twitter. If you have a verified account, we'll even label you as a verified listener.
$8.
$8 to get bullied.
$20 until you bully me, and then I'll make it $8 if you're a famous author.
I like Stephen King. I was listening to one of his books. His book of this year, he came out with this year, Fairy Tale, which is a fucking great book. So I was about almost at the end of it when I saw that tweet, and I sat there. I was like, you know what, man makes still writing high quality books in the year 2022, and he's bullying the richest man alive. I like this. This is having a good old time up there in Maine, aren't we, Stephen? But yes, thank you guys for listening. We will see you with the holiday specials, and stay safe out there.